In the distant future, humanity had reached out beyond the confines of Earth, stretching their presence across stars and galaxies. The space station Vagabond, orbiting a hospitable planet in the Canis Major Dwarf Galaxy, served as a melting pot for countless species, including humans. Ilara, a young xenolinguist from Earth, was one of Vagabond's newest residents. Her role was crucial in fostering communication and diplomacy among the varied alien races that frequented the station. Her fascination with alien cultures was matched only by her desire to understand and learn from them. One day, while she was working in the bustling central hub of the station, a sudden commotion caught her attention. A crowd had gathered around a newcomer, an alien from a recently discovered species known as the Nalreen. Ilara had read about them but had never seen one in person. The Nalreen were known for their striking appearance, luminescent skin that shimmered with a spectrum of colors not normally visible to the human eye, and elongated limbs that moved with a graceful, fluid motion. As Ilara pushed her way through the crowd, her curiosity piqued. The Nalreen was surrounded by security personnel, clearly agitated by the overwhelming attention. The alien's eyes, large and expressive, scanned the crowd until they landed on Ilara. There was a sharpness in her gaze, an intelligence that seemed almost probing. Without warning, the alien spoke, her voice carrying a melodious quality that resonated strangely with the human ear. "Human, show what you're hiding under your clothes, dirty animal," she declared, her tone clinical yet curious. The crowd gasped, and a hush fell over the onlookers. Ilara, stunned by the directness and apparent rudeness of the statement, felt her cheeks burn with embarrassment and confusion. Why would this alien single her out and speak to her in such a manner? Regaining her composure, Ilara responded, "I'm sorry. I think there might be a misunderstanding. We have certain customs and privacy norms here that we follow." She spoke slowly, making sure her universal translator was accurately conveying her words. The Nalreen tilted her head, the shimmering colors on her skin rippling with what Ilara assumed was emotion. "I apologize for my directness," the alien continued. "In my culture, it is customary to present oneself transparently, without barriers, to foster trust. I did not mean to offend." Ilara nodded, understanding the cultural misalignment. "It's quite all right. Perhaps we can start over. My name is Ilara, and I'm a xenolinguist here. I help with translations and intercultural communications. How can I assist you today?" The alien introduced herself as Nyx. "I am here on a diplomatic mission. I must learn about your species and others aboard this station. My methods may be unusual, but my intentions are to understand, not to provoke." Ilara smiled, intrigued by the challenge. "In that case, Nyx, maybe I can be of service. Let's find a quieter place to talk. We have a lot to learn from each other." As they walked away from the crowd, Ilara couldn't help but feel the weight of her task. Not only did she need to bridge the gap between human and Nalreen, but she also had to navigate the delicate intricacies of interstellar diplomacy. Little did she know, this encounter would only be the beginning of a much larger adventure. As they settled into a secluded conference room, Nyx's colors seemed to soften, a sign that she was becoming more comfortable. Ilara prepared herself, eager to delve deeper into the mysteries of this alien diplomat and perhaps uncover more than just linguistic differences. Ilara arranged the seating to face the observation window, where the cosmic ballet of stars and distant galaxies played endlessly. Nyx, her luminescent skin reflecting the soft lights of the room, appeared to be mesmerized by the view, her gaze drifting occasionally as if she was absorbing the cosmic vista. Breaking the brief silence, Ilara initiated the dialogue. "Nyx, could you explain more about your mission here and the customs of your people? It might help me assist you better." Nyx turned her attention back to Ilara, the colors on her skin shifting subtly to hues of curiosity. "My people are seekers of truths, unfettered by illusions or pretenses. We explore the universe to understand the nature of its inhabitants, stripping down layers to see the core. On Nalro, our homeworld, we share everything openly, thoughts, spaces, even our physical forms. It is believed that true understanding comes from complete transparency." Ilara pondered this philosophy, contrasting it with human tendencies towards privacy and individualism. It's a fascinating approach. How do you handle conflicts or misunderstandings given such openness? Through dialogue and shared experiences, Nix explained. Conflicts are rare because intentions are never hidden. Misunderstandings are opportunities to deepen mutual understanding rather than create divisions. Alara noted this, seeing a valuable lesson in Nix's words. She then guided the conversation towards the practicalities of their work together. How do you plan to carry out your mission here? Are there specific individuals or groups you're meant to study? Nix leaned forward, her face illuminated by another shift in her skin's palette. I need to observe interactions, participate in your rituals, and understand your social constructs. However, my appearance and directness can be unsettling to some. That's where I can help, Alara offered eagerly. I can introduce you to various groups and help contextualize your observations within our norms. We could start with the trading delegations. They are a microcosm of the station's diverse cultures. Nix agreed, and they decided to schedule visits to various segments of the station, starting with the bustling trade halls where species from across the galaxy exchanged goods and stories. As they prepared to leave the room, Alara felt a mix of anticipation and responsibility. This was more than just a diplomatic aid. It was an opportunity to bridge galaxies. Their first visit was to the central trading hub, a vast area filled with stalls and shops from countless worlds. Nix observed quietly at first, her senses absorbing the myriad sounds, smells, and sights. Her presence drew curious looks, but Alara's explanation of her mission smoothed over any ripples of discomfort. Nix was particularly intrigued by a heated negotiation over a shipment of rare minerals. The traders, a gruff Yorvik and a sly Shreet, were locked in a battle of wits and wills. Nix watched, then turned to Alara, her skin rippling with questions. Is conflict not inevitable in such exchanges? Alara explained the concept of bargaining and negotiation, elements alien to Nix's culture of openness and shared intentions. Here, conflict is part of commerce. Each party aims to get the best deal, using their skills in negotiation as a tool. Nix absorbed this, her eyes reflecting a deep, unspoken thought. As they moved through the hub, she started to mimic the traders' gestures and tones, adapting with a speed that both impressed and slightly worried Alara. The day concluded with Nix expressing a newfound appreciation for the complexities of human interactions. Your species cloaks true intentions with layers of words and actions. It is both confusing and fascinating. Alara laughed lightly. And for us, perhaps there's a beauty in those layers, like a dance of minds. But let's see if we can find some common ground in the days to come. As they walked back to their quarters, the station's artificial night cycle began, casting long shadows and bathing the corridors in a calm blue light. Alara felt the first stirrings of a bond forming between them, a bridge across cultures in the true spirit of the vagabond. Alara scheduled their next meeting in the hydroponic gardens, a serene spot aboard Vagabond, where the air was always fresh with the scent of earth and growing things. It was here that many of the station's residents came to relax or meditate, surrounded by a verdant array of flora from dozens of worlds. Nix touched the leaves of a fern-like plant from Delphur 3, her skin reflecting the vibrant greens and blues in a dance of light. Plants are universally calming, Alara remarked, hoping to see how Nix would react to this more natural setting compared to the busy trading hub. On Nalro, our plants are more than just decor. They are integral to our living spaces, actively participating in our ecosystem, Nix explained, her voice harmonizing subtly with the rustle of the leaves. This feels familiar yet alien. As they strolled through the gardens, Alara steered the conversation towards the social structures of Vagabond. The station operates under a council made up of representatives from each species. It's a complex balance of power, where each group has to negotiate and sometimes compromise to maintain harmony. Nix listened intently, her head tilting occasionally in a gesture that Alara interpreted as deep thought. Compromise is a form of conflict resolution for you, then? Yes. It's essential for coexistence, especially in such a diverse environment. Their walk brought them to a small pond where artificial bioluminescent fish glowed beneath the water's surface, casting gentle light around. Nix was mesmerized, watching the light play off the water and onto the surrounding plants. "It seems your people find much beauty in what lies beneath the surface," Nix observed, her own skin subtly mimicking the flickering lights of the fish. "Yet, you wear clothes and masks, both literal and figurative." Alara smiled at the observation. "It's true. Humans often guard their inner selves, revealing them only in safe environments. It's not just about physical modesty, but emotional safety too. I wish to understand this better, to see what lies beneath, to understand what drives fear, affection, aggression, all the undercurrents of human interaction." Recognizing the depth of Nix's quest, Alara suggested, "Perhaps you would like to attend some social functions. Gatherings where people interact more informally might give you insights into the less formal aspects of our behavior." Nix agreed eagerly, intrigued by the prospect of observing humans in more natural social settings. "Yes, I would appreciate an invitation to such events." Alara thought of the upcoming cultural festival, a quarterly event where music, food, and art from various species were shared. "There's a festival soon. It's the perfect opportunity to see a wide range of interactions. People are usually at their most open during these celebrations." As they left the gardens, a plan forming, Nix's colors shifted towards warmer tones, signaling her anticipation. Alara noted this change, hopeful that the festival would provide Nix with the understanding she sought and perhaps teach her too, about the complexities of her own species. The promise of new understandings loomed large as the station's stars wheeled silently overhead, witnesses to the unfolding drama of interstellar diplomacy. As the day of the festival approached, Alara briefed Nix on the various customs and traditions she might encounter. The festival was a kaleidoscope of cultural expressions, with each species contributing something unique to the collective celebration. Alara emphasized the importance of respect for each tradition, a lesson Nix took to heart, eager to not just observe but to engage respectfully. The festival grounds were a riot of colors, sounds, and smells. Stalls lined the venue, each representing different planetary cultures. Musicians played instruments that ranged from the familiar to the bizarre, creating a symphony that somehow blended into a harmonious whole. Nix's skin shimmered with each new sensory input, a living testament to her fascination and delight. As they walked through the grounds, Nix paused at a stall showcasing musical instruments from Seraphin II, her interest piqued by a device that produced music based on the movements of the player's body rather than touch. The vendor, a Seraphinian with translucent skin and fluid-like movements, demonstrated the instrument, creating melodies that seemed to flow like water. Nix, always eager to understand, asked, "Does the music represent language for you, a form of expression beyond mere sound?" The Seraphinian nodded, their body glowing softly in response to the music. "Yes, each motion tells a part of our history, our emotions. It's how we share our stories with the universe." Nix looked at Alara, her expression thoughtful. "This is much like my own people's communication, through color and movement. Yet each culture finds its own path to expression." They continued their tour, stopping next at a culinary booth where dishes from different worlds were being prepared. Nix was curious about the ingredients and techniques, asking the cooks about the significance of each dish. Alara watched as Nix tasted a spicy Rolanian stew, her skin flickering rapidly in reaction to the unexpected heat. Laughing at Nix's reaction, Alara explained, "Food, like music, is deeply cultural. It can evoke memories, comfort, or even shock. It's another layer of understanding between species." Nix agreed, her tone light despite the lingering spice. "I see that food, like words, can be quite powerful." As evening fell, the festival shifted to its next phase, dance performances from various groups. Alara and Nix found seats near the front, where a group of Talran dancers took to the stage. Their dance told the story of a great battle in their history, their bodies twisting and turning in a dance that was both martial and artful. Nix was deeply moved by the performance. "It's beautiful how movement can tell such complex stories. My people use dance, but not to recount history. We use it to express current feelings and thoughts." Ilara nodded. Every culture uses what they have to cement their identity and share it with others. It's one of the things that makes events like this so important. As the performance ended and the crowd erupted into applause, Nyx clapped along, her earlier reticence replaced by a genuine appreciation for the myriad forms of expression around her. Ilara felt a quiet satisfaction watching Nyx integrate more with each passing moment. Her initial mission of understanding morphing into something richer, a deep dive into the textures of intercultural interaction. As the festival wound down, the pair lingered, not quite ready to leave the magic of the night. Stars twinkled above, mirrored by the lights of the station, a reminder of the vastness of space and the shared journey of its many travelers. The festival left a vivid imprint on Nyx, who spent the following days reflecting on the diverse expressions of culture and emotion she had witnessed. She and Ilara convened in a quiet lounge on the station, overlooking the docking bays where ships from countless worlds came and went, a constant reminder of the station's role as a crossroads of the galaxy. Nyx initiated their conversation with a new level of enthusiasm. Ilara, seeing the festival has expanded my understanding tremendously. Each interaction, each display of art and emotion, speaks volumes about the complexity of your alliances here. How do you manage such diversity on a daily basis? Ilara sipped her drink, considering the question. It's about balance and constant communication. Misunderstandings are common, but so are resolutions. We thrive on the diversity, learning from each other, adapting and growing together. Nyx nodded thoughtfully. I'm beginning to see the necessity of your masks, as you called them. They are not just shields, but also a means to navigate and respect these complexities. Ilara smiled, pleased with Nyx's insight. Exactly. Sometimes those masks help us interact smoothly, giving us time to understand each other's deeper truths at a comfortable pace. Their discussion was interrupted by a sudden alert on the station's communication channel. A minor emergency was reported in one of the lower engineering bays. A malfunctioning airlock was causing atmospheric instabilities. Ilara stood up, her duty as a station officer calling. Nyx, would you like to see how we handle crises? It's another important aspect of life here. Curious, Nyx agreed, and they hurried towards the engineering bay. Upon arrival, Ilara introduced Nyx to the engineering team, who were already busy stabilizing the situation. The team worked with a calm efficiency, their actions coordinated and precise, a ballet of technical expertise. Nyx observed every action with keen interest, her skin colors shifting with the rhythm of the operations. After the situation was resolved, the chief engineer, a burly individual named Koro from the mining colonies of Drax 7, explained the technicalities of the repair to Nyx. This was a simple fix, but essential, Koro explained, wiping his hands on a rag. Even small issues like this can escalate quickly in an environment like ours. Nyx turned to Ilara, her expression one of respect. Your people are not just diplomats and traders, but also capable guardians of this habitat. It's an admirable convergence of roles. They left the engineering bay, and Ilara decided to take a detour through the residential sectors, showing Nyx some of the daily life activities of the station's inhabitants. Children from various species played together in the communal areas, their laughter blending into a joyful cacophony. This is why we work so hard to maintain peace and functionality, Ilara said, gesturing to the playing children. It's not just about survival, but about creating a place where future generations can thrive together, despite their differences. Nyx watched the children, her face softening. I see now why your roles are so multifaceted. You are not just preserving today, but building a foundation for tomorrow. As they walked back to their quarters, Nyx's reflections turned inward. I have learned much about your ways, Ilara. I believe I'm ready to share more of my own culture with you, to offer a glimpse beneath my surface, as it were. Ilara nodded, eager to learn more about Nyx's world and its people. The exchange of knowledge seemed to be just beginning, each lesson building a bridge to deeper mutual understanding. As they continued their walk, the lights of the station shimmered around them, casting long shadows and painting the corridors in hues of promise and potential. Over the next few days, Nyx prepared a presentation of her culture, a detailed exposition of Nalro, its people, and their customs. They met in a small auditorium reserved for cultural exchanges, where Nyx had set up visual aids and samples of Nalreen artifacts, each piece a story unto itself. Alara watched as Nyx arranged the last of her displays, a series of holographic images that floated gracefully above a device in the center of the room. The images showed landscapes of Nalro, a planet of vast oceans and floating islands, its cities integrated seamlessly into the natural environment, almost invisible from a distance. As you have shared your home with me, I now share mine with you, Nyx began, her voice steady and her skin glowing softly under the holographic light. Nalro is a world where openness is not just a social custom, but a survival trait. Our islands are isolated, so communication and cooperation are vital. She pointed to an image of a large gathering of Nalreen, their bodies aglow, a myriad of colors communicating emotions and thoughts. Here, we are celebrating the annual Gathering of Lights, a time when every island sends representatives to share knowledge, trade stories, and forge alliances. It is much like your festival, but more intimate. Alara was captivated by the beauty and complexity of the ceremony. Your festivals seem to play a crucial role in maintaining your societal structure. Yes, Nyx confirmed. They are essential to our cohesion as a people. Without them, our islands would drift apart, not just physically but culturally. As Nyx continued, she explained the educational systems of Nalro, the way children were taught from a young age to read colors and movements, to communicate honestly and clearly. Our education is not just about knowledge, but about understanding and conveying truth. Alara noted the stark contrast to human educational systems, which often focused on individual achievement and competitive success. It seems that your people are taught to be part of a collective consciousness. Exactly, Nyx nodded. And in that, we find our strength. The presentation concluded with Nyx inviting questions from the small audience that had gathered, their faces a mixture of curiosity and awe. The questions ranged from inquiries about Nalreen technology to their philosophy on interstellar relations. As the session ended, Nyx and Alara walked back to the lounge, reflecting on the exchange. I feel as though I've only scratched the surface of your culture, Nyx. There's so much more to learn, Alara confessed, genuinely intrigued. Nyx's colors rippled with warmth. And I still have much to learn from you, Alara. Perhaps that is the true nature of diplomacy, an endless exchange of learning and understanding. They arrived at the viewport, looking out at the stars. The conversation shifted to their future plans, discussions of further exchanges, and possibly even a visit to Nalro for Alara. As much as we've shared, it feels like we're just beginning, Alara mused, her gaze fixed on the distant stars that now seemed a bit more familiar. Nyx agreed, her eyes reflecting the starlight. Perhaps that's the beauty of connections like ours. They don't really end. They evolve. Their conversation lingered into the hours, the station orbiting silently as the cosmos spun around them, a backdrop to a friendship that had transcended cultural and spatial boundaries, promising endless possibilities for the future.